Hello, everybody. I am Mel Doerr, the Aloha Shirt Psychic, and I've got the one, the only Miss Linda Grindle in the house, the Comanche Psychic. And I'm so excited. We have Georgiou, founder and creator of Andro+Niki skincare products. They are the best.
Best.
And I was lucky enough to have dinner at my favorite restaurant, Mykonos, Greek restaurant, last Monday night with Andrew. And boy, his spiritual story is really pretty incredible. And so we asked him on today to share some of those things. And I'm really excited about it. So,
Hi,
Linda,
Andrew.
hi.
Hey Linda, hey Mel.
Hey,
Thanks for having me on today. The invitation is wonderful. And the last time you invited me onto your show, which was June 2nd, I thought to myself, you know, what could possibly go wrong? Your audience knows about Andro and Nikki by now, so it should just be a nice time for me to tell my backstory and, have a nice few moments with Mel and Linda on their show. Well, I was completely wrong about that because we absolutely sold out of everything. And that afternoon, as I was watching the stock deplete, I couldn't, I just couldn't believe what was going on. I mean, I couldn't imagine. And it really wasn't on my radar. So by that afternoon, we sold out completely.
yay.
And at that point, orders still kept coming through, but I couldn't scramble fast enough. But eventually put on a notice saying back order only, 4 weeks, 4 week back order, sold out completely. I called my sister and I said, I can't even begin to believe that this is even happening. She said, no, you've got the notice up to say 4 weeks back order, right? And I'm like, yep, 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 got it, got it, got it. So then it was like, okay, now what do I do? I've got to figure this out. And I got to get product in the pipeline. So I pick up the phone and call the lab. Are ingredients okay for us to get in? No problem. I call the packaging company, labels, boxes. Is that okay? Yes, we can get them in, no problem. So then I call the container company who does the serum dispensers. And I said, okay, uh, we had a good run. I need a quick order of several thousand of those, please. And they said, sure, no problem. We can start production in about 8 weeks. We'll finish production in about 12 weeks, and we can get them to you in 16 weeks. And at that point, I thought, well, this was a nice 6 months in skincare. I wonder what my next career move will be. Of course, I panicked. And of course, all sorts of things are going through my head. Is it time to now close the business down? I just started it, but it's been a great run. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't fulfill these orders. I'm not sure. The orders still kept coming in, even with 4 week back order. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks after that, with no mention on social media or whatever, we had the biggest weekend ever. So I'm panicking. But every time I kept panicking, a voice in my head kept saying to me, don't panic. And the more I heard that voice, the more annoyed I got with it. But it was louder and louder and louder.
I love it.
Don't panic. I was like, it was too late. I was already panicking. What am I going to do? So I did what I often do in situations like this, and that is to shut out the world, to stand still for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and just tune in to whatever comes to me, whatever the universe wants to tell me. So I went to a quiet place. I shut down everything for, a good 15 minutes, and I did my meditation. And for me, visions and pictures are very important. That's how I get my messages from the higher source or the universe, whatever you want to call it. And so in this meditation, I kept seeing one scene repeat over and over and over and over again. And that was a scene of a person I had met 3 years ago that I had completely lost touch with, that I didn't even know who his name was. But every time I kept sort of pushing for another solution in my meditation, it kept going back to that meeting with him. Okay, so I get out of the meditation and I think to myself, all right, I don't even know his name. I, I, I can't even remember when it was that I contacted him. We sort of lost touch. He manufactures containers for skincare, but it was 3 years earlier. And so I scrubbed through all of my text messages because I thought somewhere I've texted him. And I don't erase any text message. So 3 years of text messaging took a little while, but I got there and eventually I found him and I called him, not even knowing whether he was still in business. I said, look, I don't know if you remember me, but he said, I don't quite remember you, but just tell me what it is that you need or send me a picture and let me see what I can do. I said, if you can help me, I will name my first child after you, which of course was a silly thing to do since I didn't know his name. I hope that it was a nice name.
Yeah.
Anyway, I send him a picture. He says, give me 24 hours and I'll come back to you. That night, I didn't sleep, as you can imagine. And the next morning, right on point, he calls me. He says, how many do you need? And I tell him. He says, great. We have all of those in stock. I can send them to you by ship. That'll take 4 weeks, or I can air freight them to you. That'll take 10 days. And at that moment, it was
Oh
like
my God.
I
You
was
already had those already made?
already made,
Did you know that
already
there was a
made.
place that already made them?
Yeah. So the place I had previously purchased them from was buying them from the place that he's going to buy them from. And not only that, they were significantly less in price because the company I originally bought them from was overcharging me. So now George has become my best friend, as you
Yes.
can imagine. But I did tell him Georgiou was probably not going to work for a firstborn's name.
PG.
But he absolutely came to the rescue. And from that, a dialogue and conversation about other things that he could help and support the business was, perfect. And in times like this, that impasse in life often redirects to where I
Oh my
needed
God. The
been in
fact
the
you kept
first
seeing
place.
him. You kept seeing him.
Right, right. And it was a chance meeting. I mean, it was an absolute chance meeting. It was at a trade show. I passed him 3 or 4 times and I thought, what is this guy? What's he doing? And that was that. I mean, that was
So
amazing.
did he expedite your shipment?
He did. He absolutely did.
But
And
I think it's a lesson in abundance too, because I have
yeah,
people to say, I want an abundance. And I say, but when you ask for an abundance, you have to be really specific to the universe because it might give you an abundance, but you'll be like, ah, how do I handle it? So
that's
yeah.
right. That's right. So we were able to get back, and your audience has been incredible. I mean, beyond incredible and patient and wonderful. You know, the the letters of support, the outpouring of love
Isn't
and
that just wonderful?
respect has been astonishing, absolutely astonishing.
They are amazing.
We had other challenges along the way. I mean, every startup has its challenges. I mean, that's one of them, for example.
Yeah.
But another one was, at the beginning, I bought into an expensive phone service that was powered by AI and supposed to redirect calls to mobile phone and be able to have an automated answering service. except for the calls kept dropping. Uh, two rings into the mobile phone, and I would lose them. It
Oh,
was
geez.
it
Did you
was
get
just
rid of
crazy.
them?
And so, yeah, there was some customers who said, Andrew, we can't get a hold of you. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And at that point, it was like, all right, we need a live person. Okay, that's going to be kind of expensive, but it's time
But
to do
it's
it.
worth it. Yeah.
So I said to the universe, help me with this. 1 hour later, I'm on Facebook and I see an ad for, are you losing business because someone isn't answering your phone? Click here.
Thank you,
Click.
guys.
It was even cheaper than the AI service that was previous.
Oh my God.
And now I have someone, there's a team of people 24 hours a day who can answer the phone and say, hi, Andro+Niki Skincare.
I remember
Even
Andrew
now.
calling me saying, I'm on back order. And I said, Andrew, back order is a good thing. Sends people the message that the product is really good. That's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Because people want it more if they have to wait for it.
That's right. That's right. I remember during COVID when, I would see people face to face, and I had a YouTube channel, only had like 300 subscribers, and I thought that was good because I knew nothing about social media except Facebook, nothing. And I was really nervous for the first time in all these years about losing my business because we had to close. We couldn't, if the village found out we were seeing people, we would have gotten fined, I mean, arrested. It was really tough. So a friend of mine out in California told me about the Comanche psychic. He kept telling me about her. Gunnar Goebel was telling me. I was
I
like,
heard she cray cray.
I heard she's kind of crazy. Anyway, so he kept calling me. He said, the Comanche psychics kind of get in touch with you. I gave you your phone number, blah, blah, blah. Linda was emailing me, but what do I know
And
about
I was like, I don't have to pursue people.
it?
And
Right.
he's pushing it and I'm like, hey, bitch didn't call me back. What are you gonna do?
So finally, I called her, and I'll never forget this. And she said, "Okay, I'll read you. You read me." And we did. And I said, "Can we do a FaceTime?" And she said, "No, my hair's in curlers." And she asked me what I thought about a certain political party, which name I won't mention right now. And after a long stream of swear words, she goes, "I want you on my show." And that really saved our business because we would have gone under. And
Really?
yeah, I
You
mean,
never told me that.
because I only saw people face to face and I really didn't do anything virtually. And that's caused me to get a computer and to, start doing
Wow.
virtual and then Linda said you'll get very busy. And she told me the story about somebody else that she had, you know, s-
I told her, get yourself a calendar, now I'll just call him. And she got so overwhelmed, it took her months to catch up.
the first time I was on Linda's show, I personally answered over 375 emails. And I told Linda, I said, but I've got a staff here, two people that work part-time that weren't doing anything. So I had all that lined up. And, you know, from there, the rest is history. Here we are. But I really had that debt of thanks to Linda because it really saved my business. Otherwise, I would have been in
I
deep
don't see
trouble.
any checks coming my way. How about you, Andrew? Any
Um,
checks your
Andrew
way?
paid me to say that.
But it does go to show about being in the right place at the
At the
right
right
time,
time.
pursuing the purpose that you've, come to do. The universe will find ways to bring the solutions to the challenges.
They sure do.
And I've always believed in that.
And you got to take that moment of no thought
Yeah,
because it's in the no thought that the vibrational energy is there.
And
absolutely.
step out of the fear. Like when I
Right.
just said, okay, I'll do Linda's show, was I panicked? Of course, not to do your Linda's show, but just about the business. And I told my staff, I will not lose this business. I will do whatever it
It's
takes.
so funny. This is the first time I've heard this.
Yep, that's
Wow.
true. I said, I will do whatever it takes legally to save my business.
Wow.
And from then it just kind of, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, because I was old fashioned. I only wanted to see people face to face. I was kind of semi-retired. And Linda's like, you really need to do YouTube. You really
Yeah.
need to do YouTube. And she pushed that. And I'm like, okay, I got it already. I
So,
did.
Andrew, about the 8 by 10 glossies you're going to include in your.
Fine,
Yes,
8 by 10 glossies.
8 by 10 glossies, indeed. But Mel is also talking about intention. You know, when you have that intention, that desire to really hold tight to what is critical or important, then the universe also sees that too. You know, intention is a very big
Powerful.
player in energy, and is you know, in
But
my
I
perspective.
also want to say it's not like an Aladdin's lamp, and if you rub it, good things will come out. People say, well, you said this and it didn't happen. I said, but what action did you take? Well, nothing. Well,
Right,
hello, you have to be proactive. Like, you went into the West, the bear energy, the hibernation for 24, 48 hours, whatever you had to do, Andrew. And this something said, call this guy, call this guy. And you did. So you took action.
right,
Yeah.
right,
So
right.
we
Because
have to take the
it's
action.
right, one thing having the idea and something else acting upon it.
Right.
You know, just having the idea just sort of moves you in circles.
And you're very generous, Andrew. You give lovingly. You love to give samples. You love to, if anybody can't really afford it, you don't have any problem with, although it's not very expensive. But that giving comes back a thousandfold
Certainly.
Yeah,
because you give with grace and with your heart. There's a difference between giving and saying, "Oh, I gave to this." But no, you just do it, and it's just beautiful. That giving and that ability to use the money, like for me, I notice I start making more money the more I give money away.
And
yes,
I think, Linda, you hit on something. When I give, I do it not because some people do it because they think it's a cosmic vending machine. If I give, I'll get something in return. I don't give for that reason. I give because, in my opinion and in my heart, it's the right thing to do.
absolutely.
Not because I want anything else. I just do it because it's it's helping people. It can be a smile. It doesn't have to be monetary. It could be
Right.
helping somebody across the street. It can be any act of kindness.
Doesn't have to be money related
What
either. Yeah.
doesn't? And it
Yeah.
does come back in a positive way.
Yeah. When I used to work the
Oh,
streets, I didn't charge that much and would give to some people because I knew they barely could afford it.
So she made $25.25. Who gave you the
20,
quarter? They all did.
$25, 25 cents.
you guys are so funny. But yes, I really do think that, doing what is right is about aligning with someone else's intention with my intention and
Yes.
having that connection that's there. Um, I've received so many phone calls and so many emails, as I mentioned earlier. Some have brought me to tears,
Wow.
and some have brought me to have a chuckle. There was a customer I spoke to on the phone a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I can't remember her name, but we were talking about something, and she says, "Oh, and by the way, Andrew, I just want to tell you, I really, really love your product." I said, "Well, thank you. That's great to hear." She says, "Every night now, before I go to bed, I have a new nighttime routine. I use the moisturizer and the nighttime repair serum, and my husband loved it so much that he's now doing the same routine with me every single night."
Wow.
I said, "Wow." I said, "Was he using skincare products before?" She said, "No, just since I bought your products. Oh, and by the way, this week he'll be 90."
Wow. Wow.
I'm like, wow.
Isn't
That's
that so cool?
that is I was speechless, like I sort of am now. Because again, when the energy is in it and the intention is right, people will just enjoy it, not even knowing why sometimes.
There was another client that Andrew told me this story. I don't mean to interrupt, but this is a really, we'll
Go
talk
ahead.
about synchronicity. I gave her a reading, but I didn't know what had developed since I had read her. And Andrew called me and he said, I talked to the most amazing lady, and she has cancer caused from HPV. And I said, yeah, so did I, in my throat. And can I share it, Andrew?
Sure, sure.
And Andrew said, I had throat cancer as well.
Wow.
I talked to this lady for almost, was it 2 or 3 hours or something?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and I think, I don't know if she called about the cancer or about the product,
About
but
the
here
product.
again, calling about the product led together to that commonality. And I had read the lady, she heard about the product from us, but yet all three of us had the same kind of cancer.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it is. It really is amazing. I'd love to read you just a few more
Sure.
customer comments and things, and just sort of share a few. But again, my gratitude is with you both and your audience, and your audience is astonishing. I mean, of all the people on the face of the earth, your audience is, you know, the ones I want to live my life with, if you know what I mean. I
Yeah.
mean, they're
Incredible.
so pure and so
Like
wonderful.
family. Yeah.
Yeah, I like family. Yeah. I should read you this one. Kim writes, I love your products. My skin is firmer and the lines of my face are diminishing. And my husband even noticed the difference. And that was hell of a shock. We will be married 49 years next month, and he never even notices when I have a complete new outfit head to toe. He was very impressed with your products. Thank you. I am hooked. I'll be ordering
Oh,
And
again.
now she's pregnant. No, teasing.
And I love that. Gail goes on like the creamiest of creams. At my last ophthalmologist visit, the assistant missed my eye while putting in the drops. She said, I'm sorry, I was admiring your skin instead of looking at your eye. I'm 71 years old, she writes.
wow. That's beautiful.
Wow.
Joanne from Canada. Hi, Joanne, if you're watching. She writes, I'll be honest, I was upset at the first delays, but you've more than proven yourselves. With your anti-aging
Oh,
booster serum is better than anything I've used in 40 years, including Lancome. Thank you, Joanne.
yeah. And that stuff can be expensive.
Right, exactly. She says, I served in the Canadian military helping others for decades, and I retired with National Excellence Award.
Wow.
I don't give my loyalty lightly, she said. You've earned mine.
Isn't that beautiful?
So, Andrew, if they want to get a hold of you, how do they do it?
They can write to info@andro-niki.com and they'll get me straight away, or they can call the customer support line, which is on our website, and I'll get the message straight away.
But to order, it's Andro+Niki, right?
Yes, you can Google Andro+Niki, and the brand is Andro+Niki, but the website is Andro-Niki.
And you just got a new model for your products is really cool.
I hope so. I hope to get a new model soon.
Okay. Um,
I have a few more if you like.
yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Gracelyn, she writes, your skincare is a gift to humanity. That's very sweet.
Oh,
I can feel the love and the intention that went into these products. Thank you for creating something meaningful. It's rare to see that this is tr it's rare to see something that is truly made to help people, not just to sell. She said, I'm so grateful.
beautiful.
And it's
Um,
not an infomercial, by the way. Linda and I use the products and they're phenomenal.
We use the products and we're not asking for any change back. Nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Got
Absolutely.
time for one more, Andrew.
Sure. Uh, this one was the one that really moved me. She said, I'm 77 and I've been struggling with a serious illness that has caused me to lose so much weight so quickly, and my skin has suffered. I cannot thank you enough. Your products have given me hope again. My face has already improved, and I want to feel my best despite what I'm going through. These products are the very best of the best.
Wow.
And you made these products from the heart, correct?
Yes,
Because
they're
you're
my
doing this
formulation.
with the realm helping you do this, which means the products they really work. That's the bottom line. It's not like people all chemists all gathered together and want to put it in a fancy bottle and sell it at a high price.
Right. These are formulations that my sisters and I worked together to build. Yes, did we work with some divine intervention? Yes,
Absolutely.
we did. And then we went to the chemists who are FDA approved to validate and to tweak when necessary. And as I mentioned before, we were very clear in terms of our intention. Strip out all the things that are inactive and load it up with as much active ingredients as possible. And that was the intention. So anyway, so from me to you, to your audience, thank you so much for making a dream come true.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful, Andrew.
All right. Let me see. I don't know how to, I gotta figure out how to do this here.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. No, please, thank you for having me. Don't thank me for anything.
Let me just
Yeah,
do one thing
thank
here.
you for having me. And I hope that was content that your audience will enjoy.
Yeah. Well, now you're going to get even more busy.
Oh. Hi, we're back. We had a little technical issue there, but we're back. And it's nice of Andrew to come on. He was going to be on Linda's show last week, Linda but he had to fly, so he's on this week. So
Yeah, there was delays with the flights.
his products are incredible. So are we ready to get started with questions?
Yes,
Okay. By the way, how are you, Miss Grindle?
I'm better.
Good,
I'm
good.
better. I got my scan back. I'm doing good. I'm moving forward. I heard from the doctor this morning they're going to do more evaluation of that cyst on my kidney.
I think they'll probably drain it and then it'll stay away.
Probably. It's starting to come back. I can feel it as I'm talking to you.
They do. They
That makes me wonder because when I lay on a heating pad, sometimes a couple of days, and then it dissipates, is that draining when that happens? Or
I think it reduces the inflammation.
okay.
The only way the cyst would drain is if it had a hole in it, and then it would take it a while to come back. So they might have to go in and drain it, maybe try to get the cyst wall. But
Is that a real painful? They just put a needle in.
I don't think so.
I'm
I
going to ask for some Versed or something.
I don't feel it would be. Oh no, they'll probably knock you out.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm like, knock me out, wake me up. I'm not a martyr to pain, right? Why suffer when there's good meds?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, okay. Hello, Mel and Linda. Will CEOs connected to the oligarchs supporting Cittadini face charges in corporate disaster because of their actions?
I think some of them will.
I do too. I really do.
I really do think some of them will.
Um,
Stock market's dropping
no,
today.
I was hopping mad today because he signed another executive order that's totally unconstitutional. One is about burning the flag. Now, I've never burned the flag. I don't condone burning the flag. But if somebody chooses to out of protest, that is their First Amendment right. And the Supreme Court have said people have the right to do that.
I remember that when it went before the Supreme Court.
Right. Well, now he's making an executive order saying that it's illegal, and if you do it, you'll serve up to a year in jail with no possibility of getting out for that year, and it's automatic, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not a lawyer, but my guides are telling me that's totally unconstitutional.
Yeah, but I don't see anybody challenging him. He's not, we're not going to deal with this much longer. I
But I
can't tell you how much longer, but he's not forever.
but I guess the question is, do you see it going to the Supreme Court? And if it does, how will they rule on it?
Well, they'll have to stand by what they ruled before.
Well, they can change it, but my guides tell me they won't. The other
Yeah.
thing that got me hopping mad is what he's doing is sending the National Guards to all these Democratic cities, no Republican ones, just Democratic.
Oh, I wrote to MSNBC this morning. He sat there at a news conference and lied and said all his Democratic friends and Republican friends are telling him Washington, D.C. has never been better.
Wrong answer.
Their restaurants are so full. And I did chat, I said, so how are the restaurants doing in Washington? and they said, this is what they're saying. Reservations are down significantly, in some cases up to 31%. Even accounting for the seasonal spike in 20 to 24, a decline remains evident in 2025. Business owners are reporting steep losses. So he's not, there's no, oh, they're doing fabulous. That's a lie, a straight up lie.
The biggest part of that's because of his stupid tariffs and stuff like that. Prices have gone so high, people are afraid to eat out because it's so
And
expensive.
people don't want to go out where the military's standing there.
Correct. That's right. Well, now he's doing it to Chicago, and us Chicagoans are hopping mad. He
Can
just
he do it to Chicago? Because
signed.
there's no emergency there.
Well, what he's saying is he's going to do it to all of these cities. They have a high crime rate. They're killing each other in the streets. They're doing this. They're doing that. Blah blah blah. Just for the record, Chicago is not that high in crime. I think we rank like 30th or 40th of all the cities. His own city, DC, is probably higher in crime than Chicago.
Louisiana is 400%.
I rest my case. But he's not sending anybody there, only cities and mayors and governors that have criticized him. And he's going to send National Guards here, and I think what he's trying to, oh, and then he said with the flag burning, it incites a riot. Anybody that incites a riot, excuse me, Donald, you were the biggest inciter of a riot of anybody that ever lived. You wanted to overturn the government.
Yeah, you were using American flags to hurt police officers.
That's right. So, he's talking about, reducing crime in our city. You know what? Our mayor is quite capable of that. Um, and I'm finding that Democrats and Republicans alike are hopping mad. And some people are even well, I'm sure that they will go up to the National Guard and say, how can you live with yourself doing this?
Right. Well, the ones that were in Los Angeles, they were defecating on their own machines. They were doing they had to have a defecation squad to make sure other military people didn't defecate on things.
And that's exactly probably what will happen here. You
Yeah.
know, what he's trying to do is incite violence, and then he's got this Chinese premier or something in Washington now talking about martial law. And then my guides tell me this is a litmus test for him to try to get martial law. And even this morning, Trumpolini said, well, some people think dictators are a good thing. Maybe it is a good thing.
And I'm not actually a dictator, but
Right. And even when he talked about, well, this is, the Supreme Court says that, it's okay to burn a flag, but I'm going to sign this executive order, almost giving the Constitution, the Supreme Court, the middle finger.
I know.
So my question is, if he sends troops to Chicago, and I'm sure that he will, how long will they be here? That's number one. And I don't see violence. I see peaceful protest. He might say there's violence, but I don't see that. I see a lot of protests, yes. But I think he's sending troops to tell people the message, if you protest, you'll get arrested. So they're going to be fearful to protest.
Well, you know what? This too shall pass. So this man's, can we just refrain from burning a flag till he's out of the picture?
Or what about our cities? He's trying to overturn the governments of the Democrat cities, and that's frightening to me. You know, uh,
Yeah. Well,
but
he's not able to overturn the government.
but he can say he can arrest people if they're protesting and this and that, and just tell the city government and the state government kind of, give them the middle finger. And for a party that talked about less government, boy, they certainly have a dictator, don't they?
Yeah. I think, but the outcome of this is really good.
Okay.
So I think he might be able to do this, but there's the Eight of Swords, which means uh, there's I don't know what Chicago's going to do or other cities, but I feel like they bring it. I think if they bring it before the Supreme Court, they're going to say, no, there was no constitutional reason for you to do this. He has to have a reason. He has to have a reason. It can't be just because
Right.
I say so.
Right. And usually it's the governors of the state that call out the National Guard,
Right.
the president.
But you know how the Supreme Court's about state rights.
Right.
States should have the right to determine, and I feel that there's something that will interfere with this. If it lasts, it'd be 8 days, 8 weeks, or something like that. But I do see there's a lot of undercurrent, a lot of information's getting ready to come out. I don't know about what.
I think it's the Maxwell case. I feel like something big is going to happen, something huge, and I don't know what it is.
I know.
I'm sensing that. Okay. Do you have any questions or want me to go ahead?
Well, I want to know about that guy. The other day I talked about him, uh, uh Abrego or
Oh, yeah. The one that,
yeah, now they're going to send him to Africa.
well, if he's standing trial for smuggling illegals into the country, and if he's convicted, they want to send him to Uganda.
Yeah, but I don't see him. That's why when I read on it yesterday, I didn't see him going anywhere.
I
And
don't,
it's probably because a jury will say this is a bunch of crap.
right. I mean, if
They're
he,
having people that they're paying people to testify against him with false information.
um, if he, I mean, I don't know what Trump has struck behind the scenes with Uganda as far as jails are concerned. But
Yeah,
trust me, you don't want to go to a jail in Uganda, that's for sure. Uh,
yeah.
but I don't see him there. I never saw him there.
I don't see it either.
I see him acquitted.
Yeah,
He might leave the United States after he's acquitted on his own accord, but I see
yeah.
him acquitted.
He's not. So the cards were right the first time.
You
I
know,
always gotta trust
I
them.
talked to my friend Linda Pasha. She wrote a book, Protecting Ourselves from Suicide. She lost her son to suicide, and she's really big with that. But, she's also she's a wonderful human being. She's Catholic, but I said to her once, with all the, like some politicians don't want gay people to get married or to take communion in the Catholic Church. And I said to Linda, I said, I'm thinking about not taking communion in the church because of the church's stand on gay marriage. And she said, I would not let anybody keep me away from taking communion. She said, no matter who you are. And I said, you know something? You're right. And I had a long talk with her the other day. And I said, a lot of people are afraid and they're thinking about moving away from the country. And she said, remember the conversation we had about taking communion, the Eucharist? I said, yes. And she said, it's the same with America. I will not let anybody like Donald Trump force me out of my country. I will stand up
Yeah,
and fight. So, everybody, I know many of you want to leave, but you can stand up and fight. And I intend to.
yeah,
So, our voices will be heard. So,
exactly.
all right. So, do you have another one or is it my turn?
Your turn.
This is a good one. Will it be safe for my adult trans son to fly to Montana next year as a requirement for their geology degree? I hear yes, it will be.
I'm not feeling yes.
Okay, what are you getting?
Let me look real quick. He's with other people, right?
I don't know. I would assume.
I feel he blends in. He needs to stay with other people.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be okay, but he's going to leave there disappointed. He's going to see some stuff there that's not very pretty.
I don't see any harm coming to him, though.
No, there's no harm but disappointment.
All right. Aloha, Auntie Mel and lovely Linda. Katie Miller, Stephen Miller's wife, has a history of being just as despicable as he is.
Yep.
What will become of her after the orange buffoon departs? I think
Is
like
she still with Elon?
I don't know. I think like everybody else, she'll crawl back in the
I
woodwork.
know Steve Miller's in trouble.
Oh, he will be. Um, and I've got a feeling Elon Musk is going to be in some trouble too. But Elon Musk is going to pay a lot of money to change the election. What'd you pull, Linda?
To change this current election?
No, 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 no. To make sure that Trump doesn't, that he's going to try to make sure that the MAGAs don't keep the House and the Senate. I don't think he'll put his support toward Democrats, but maybe a candidate behind the scenes that he
Yeah,
will.
he's not, yeah, yeah. He's not going to put it towards Trump and the
No,
maggots because they ruled against him.
he will not. So what did
She's got some trouble going. She's got long trouble. It's extended trouble.
see? I see her in her investigation.
Yeah.
Um, okay, okay. Oh, let's see. What does MAGA feel about Trump and the Republican leaders now? Will MAGA still be supporting them by the end of November?
No, he's dropped big time. His numbers have dropped. They've
But,
even fallen more today.
but
And yet he says, I've got the greatest numbers ever. He's just delusional.
you know, the little core of MAGAs will always be his core followers.
Right. But there's a bunch of one guy said, I voted for Trump every single time. And now my shoe business is going under. But in the meantime, Nike and these other people got carte blanche from Trump because they were able to pay him.
Right. But a lot of people who voted for Trump, maybe not MAGAs, are going to switch because they've had it. A lot of business people, a lot of farmers, a lot of everybody.
Oh, Iowa. He's so low in Iowa they could hardly believe it because that's red country.
I love what Newsom is doing with the memes. Oh my goodness. Newsom is my hero now. He really is.
I know it's funny what he's doing.
And we have Pritzker here in Illinois too. So, I love
Oh,
it.
did you see Trump called Pritzker fat?
Yes, yes.
Has he looked in the mirror lately?
I don't even know how Pritzker replied. Probably just, I say I might be fat, but at least I have a brain. What's your excuse, Donald?
Yeah.
Right? Um, all right, let's see here. Um, okay, hello, Dream Team. Hi, this is from Valerie. Will the midterm election results reflect the true value of the voters, unlike the results of the 2024 presidential election?
Yeah, because the 2024, which is going to be coming out more towards midterms, it was manipulated by Elon
Totally
Musk.
manipulated. Totally. I see the midterm really reflecting the will of the voters. Um, Even with Texas redrawing its political lines, but Newsom did it in California, except Newsom was smart. He said, I'll put it on a referendum. I'll put it up to the voters. And
Yeah. Well, that's the way you have to do it in California.
but everybody in California is going to be for it almost.
And the numbers are totally for it. And people are saying, yeah, I hear California is not doing it. No, we're doing it. Our numbers are high with yes.
And I can tell you that governors in other states, Democratic governors in other states, are going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Big states like Pennsylvania and Michigan.
Yeah. He's much ado about nothing. But it doesn't, I did ask that chat thing. I said, okay, if Texas changes these places to Republican, does that mean only a Republican can win? What if you get a mass amount of votes for the other team?
Right.
And it says the other team can win.
That's right. So,
That's what I see is a mass, not everybody, oh, I've always been a Republican, I'm going to vote Republican. I see a mass amount of people coming in and voting blue.
they can. That's right. I think if they're looking for a candidate in the primary, you have to vote toward the party for the candidate. The candidates that are running for that seat.
Right.
General election, you can vote for anybody you want to.
Just going to say, yeah.
So, redrawing political districts, it means a lot, but with Trump as president, it's going to end up meaning squat because people aren't going to vote for him.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Uh, Jenny Law says, Hi, Mel and Linda. Do you see COVID making a comeback this year?
It already is.
It is, but they're not going to Donald Trump won't let it out this time. They're
But
not.
it's not horrible. People aren't going into the hospital. It's just people are getting sick.
He's not even going to announce any epidemics. All right, let's see. This is a good one. Joanne says, do you see Maine Republican Susan Collins being defeated by oyster farmer Democrat Graham Planter in 20?
Absolutely, yes.
I do too. You
And
know,
I saw that guy win in Ohio and he lost. It was such a shock. And he went ahead and threw his hat in for this coming season. And sometimes when we read something and it says, yeah, so and so is going to win and they don't, sometimes it's because they don't win this time, but they win the
the
next time.
future prediction, that's right. Uh, I think so. Do you think he'll win?
I know he's going to win.
I do too. I get a good feeling with it. Um, yeah, Susan Collins would get me when they were impeaching him, and she's like, "He won't do it again." Yeah, he did.
They always vote towards what the Republicans want
Right. Um,
because based on that gal from Alaska, she said their lives are being threatened all the time.
exactly.
That's a shame.
Uh, Janice kind of says, Mel, there was a young man named Everett Royce who roamed Arizona, Utah area in the 1930s, an adventure writer artist. He disappeared in November 1934 near Escalante, Utah, and was never found. Can you tell us what happened to him? Did he drown? Did he fall in a crevice? Um, I just think that he fell in a crevice and nobody ever found him.
That's what I was picking up too.
I don't think there was any foul play. I'm not feeling it.
No, and I don't know if he'll be found. I'm not feeling it.
No, I don't think so either. I mean, this was 1930s, you know.
Oh, yeah, he's been long gone. Yeah,
Jill Kaplan says, "Hello, you gorgeous human beings." Thanks, Jill.
got taste.
Moi. Okay. Love listening to you both. I work in hospitals, so I'm very confused about 45's hand. Is he getting infusions or something drawn that can only be done in the hand? And why not somewhere else on the arm so it's not noticeable? I've seen many IVs and blood draws in all kinds of places on the arms, and I'm not a nurse, so I don't know what that could be. Can you please tell us what's going on? Well, a lot of times, if there's something on your hand, it's because they started an IV there because that's a common place to start them. Because if the vein blows, they can always go further up. I won't let them put it in my hand. But I still think
The hand is for me is almost the only place they can get it to go.
I make them put it higher up. Though.
They can't get it in my arm.
Well, yeah, again, if that's the only place they can get it, and it's probably the same with him. But when they showed his swollen legs and they said that it was venous insufficiency, so like, no way. It's congestive heart failure.
That's as clear as congestive heart failure as I've ever seen. My girlfriend's mother had it, and it was like her skin melted over her shoes.
Yeah, I mean, my guy, and I asked my guides, and you said it, and then it's like, yes, it is. It's with the heart. And
Yeah,
my guides keep showing me dark clouds around his head area, and he's got to watch for stroke and all that stuff. Not to
yeah,
mention, I'm not a doctor for entertainment purposes only, but I'm picking up he's got to watch his blood sugar.
yeah.
All right. Annie Hart says, we got time for a few more. Auntie Mel and Bodacious Linda. I like that.
Hello.
Bodacious Linda. Will the Utah courts rule against the gerrymandering of our congressional districts? I hear yes.
Utah?
Yep.
They're wanting him to gerrymander for more Republicans.
Yep.
I don't see them doing it.
I don't either. Okay, there's a lot of redistricting. Strong Little Mama says Indiana is supposedly looking at redistricting. Some are saying this may backfire on them. Do you see it backfiring?
Oh, hell to the yeah.
Huge back.
All this, the Texas one,
It's going to backfire.
all this it's just causing a lot of grief.
I see that Paxton in Texas, that attorney general down there, once Abbott's out of office and once Trump is gone, Paxton's going to be in a lot of trouble.
Oh, big trouble.
and Pam Bondi and Cash Patel.
Yeah.
Bondi's going to go to jail, and Cash Patel might, the way
And
I.
they just found out Christy Nome painting that fence black. Well,
Oh,
it's got a lot of rust on it, and you can't overpaint on fences that are rusted because the paint won't stick.
so what happened? She did what? I'm sorry, I didn't hear about
She's painting the fences, the border fences black
it.
because it causes heat and they won't climb like they don't go at night, you know.
What?
What?
She's another one that's going to be in big
In
trouble.
trouble.
I see her indicted as
And so is the cross-eyed guy. What's his name? The FBI guy.
Cash Patel.
Oh, he's in huge trouble.
Is in huge trouble. Uh,
Working against the United States? Oh, hell yeah.
Pam Bondi, the same thing that's going to happen to her is what happened to Attorney General John Mitchell under Nixon.
Yeah.
Obstruction of justice.
And all those people sat up there and told Congress, oh, no, we would never do this or do that. And they turned around and did just what they said they'd never do. They've committed perjury.
Exactly. I'm telling you, once Trump's gone, and he's not going to be in office long, you all.
Yeah.
And I've Shady Vance as president, the Maybelline Queen.
Yeah. Whose numbers are worse than Trump's,
Well, but I don't see him president long.
or if he even becomes
If
president.
he even becomes president.
Because they're going to bring in all that administration like Nuremberg trials.
Oh, absolutely. I see a lot of trials, crimes against humanity, all that stuff, like the mass deportations of innocent people. Um,
And then we're over there with an opinion about Russia taking children, Ukrainian children. Well, what do you
Look
think
at what's
Trump's doing?
going on here. Maureen Kelly says
Oh,
there's,
and by the way, may I say,
go ahead.
Zelensky announced that they're using their own missiles against Russia, so they don't need to ask the United States for permission.
Good.
Because Hedgehog said, you need to ask us before you go into Moscow. And Zelensky said, but we're using our own missiles, not from you.
That he probably got from the European Union. So good. Yeah, you can't give somebody something and tell them to do with it. I'll give you this dollar, but you have to spend it on this, not that. No.
No, but that's how Trump rolls.
Oh, I know that. Um, this is a really good question by Maureen Kelly. There's a wonderful forested park where I live. I live in Washington, Washington State, I would imagine. The park is designated as a heritage site. The county want to log the forested area for money. They have no concern for people who hike through the area. There's a petition going around. Will all of the angry going around, with all of this going around, do you see the area of Banner Forest being able to stay as a forest and not be logged? That needs to be saved. Thank you both.
I do see that. They may log a little bit of it, but they won't get in too far.
That's what I see. I see it being saved, actually. For
Yeah.
Trump saying we're going to log our national forest, no. That'll go to court, and the Supreme Court will say no. That's why they're national forests. But then you know what he'll do? He'll try an executive order to say they're not national forests anymore. But he can't do that because it takes an act of Congress to declare something a national forest.
He's got to get rid of that Congress too.
Oh, I know. So, anyway, there's something that you gave to me. It was like it wasn't really a meme, but it really, really hit home. And I think it was Elisa Valdez Rodriguez. Was it from her?
Oh yeah, she wrote a lengthy letter about. I posted it on my YouTube.
Yeah, it was about, who's going to do something about the nightmare. And she said she was on an airplane.
Yeah, and
And
they all thought they were going to die.
right, I'll let you tell the story.
Well, let me find it.
I've got
Uh,
it.
Visit community. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. I have to go to my post. Here we go.
I'll just set the backdrop. They were on an airplane from Boston to New York, and it lost hydraulic system. It lost everything, and they were going to land at LaGuardia, and they were told that it was going to crash land.
It was a Delta shuttle from Boston to New York
Right.
and lost its entire hydraulic system. As it was about to land in LaGuardia, we had already been told fasten your seatbelts, turn off your electric devices, put the table trays up. The plane was on its way down. I was seated over the right wing. When the pilot tried to lower the flaps and wheels, there was a hollow clicking and a sickly whirring sound beneath my seat. The pilot told us the truth. He was calm and he said it, but the news was terrible. We had no wheels, no flaps, no brakes, and once we were on the ground, no steering. We circled 4 hours over Manhattan and out to sea and back to burn fuel. So that in the event we caught fire when we finally crash landed somewhere, the fireball would be minimized. They held all air traffic to LaGuardia and rerouted to JFK and Newark to prepare for the runway. Uh, Now, before I experienced this, I imagined people would be screaming, crying, praying, begging God at the top of their lungs in such a situation. But that's not what happened. Instead, the cabin was eerily silent. I was in the window seat, and the middle seat was empty, and in the aisle seat was an older businessman reading the Wall Street Journal. I asked him if he could hold out his hand, and he rolled his eyes and scoffed. This stuff happens all the time. It's fine. And kept reading. Please, I said, and he relented. I held his hand despite his rolled eyes and unworried words. His hands were cold and slick with sweat. He too was afraid. Eventually, the cabin was able to get one of the two emergency hydraulic systems up and running, but he told us we were still without steering on the ground. He would have to land perfectly straight or we'd tip right into the water. Everyone stayed quiet. The plane landed, the pilot landed it perfectly straight. The sides of the runway were lined with rescue vehicles and TV news crews. We did not die, and then and only then did people begin to cry and clap, hug each other, and thank God. What I learned from this is that there is a period of time between realizing you are crashing and actually crashing. When, as long as the plane still appears to be okay, people cling to the hope more than the terror. Even though we all knew the plane had no hydraulics and we were burning and dumping fuel, and they crossed the airport down and mostly evacuated, it was so we could crash there. We all still held on to hope. I think that's where the people of the United States of America are right now, in that place where trustworthy pilots of history, sociology, and political science have all told us just how bad this is. We're circling and we're burning off the fuel. The news gets worse by the minute. Soon we will crash or crash land or land. The human heart hangs on the hope until there's no other choice. People will not fight back in ways that will work until they realize there is no other choice, until the only other choice is their own imprisonment or death, or that if of someone they love. For many of us, the moment is already here, but for most of us, it's not. Yet, this has to be a survival mechanism. Freeze, fawn, flee. We try all of those first, and only when we fail do we fight.
I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
Um, and that was from author Alyssa.
Alyssa Rodriguez, Valdez Rodriguez. But I got it. Joy Harjo showed it on her Facebook, and I sent it to everybody.
Wow. Um,
Well, listen, sweetie, it was wonderful talking to you.
it was wonderful. We got some questions. We got a lot of questions answered. We got a
Yeah.
wonderful talk with Andrew and the spirituality and synchronicity of things. And are we doing a show next Monday?
Uh, I don't know. Can I get back to you on that? I am flying back from Southern California.
Okay,
Can we do it a little later in the day?
that's fine.
Because I'm coming back pretty early. So,
Righty. So everybody, we'll keep you posted about next week. Stay safe, stay well, and thanks to Andrew, thanks to all of our supporters, and everybody. Write to your Congress people about keeping your cities free of National Guard. And also write to your Congress people and tell them that you don't approve of what's going on in Chicago or LA and all other Democratic cities where Cittadini is sending the National Guard for no reason, by the way.
Yeah. Thank you, you guys.
And so, anyway.